Every spring, I get obsessed with finding four-leaf clovers. My wife thinks it's a gift. My daughter thinks I'm lucky. It's neither. I just look for patterns. If you slow down and let your eyes adjust, a clover patch stops looking like chaos, and you start to see the pattern. Once you see it, the four-leaf ones stand out on their own. They're not hiding, you just have to actually look for them. I do the exact same thing before I learn a song or before I write one. And today I want to walk you through what that actually looks like using one of the greatest guitar pieces ever written, Sultans of Swing. The patterns are all there, you just have to know what to look for. So I'm not going to teach you how to play Sultans of Swing note for note. That's not really what my channel is about. What I want to show you is how I approach a song like this before I ever start learning it. The three things I look for that immediately give me a map of the whole tune. The number system, which gives us the chords in the key. The cage system, which allows us to play those chords all over the neck for interesting rhythm guitar parts and for great note choices when soloing. And the landmark pentatonic system, which gives us the two most commonly used shapes of the pentatonic for any song. If you can see these three things, what I call the three essential skills, you stop being someone who memorizes songs and start being someone who understands them. Big difference. I've been doing this for a long time. Live gigs, session work, teaching college level jazz, and this habit, just taking a minute to find the patterns before jumping in, might be the single most useful thing I've ever learned and taught over the years. As usual, you can download the backing track, tab, and diagrams for this lesson for free by clicking the link down in the description below. The landmark pentatonic system. All right, Sultans of Swing is in the key of D minor. Most of the time, whatever the first chord of a song is, that's what key you are in. And the first chord of this song is D minor. So we're in the key of D minor. The first thing that I do is I find my two landmark pentatonic shapes. I find the note D on the low E string, put my index finger on it, and I play shape number 1. Then I find that same note D on the A string, here at the 5th fret, put my index finger on it, and I play shape number 4. These two shapes are home base. Most everything that Mark Knopfler does in this song is happening in and around these two positions. Before I touch the actual song, I just want these shapes under my fingers and in my ears. This is my clover patch. This is the territory. The number system. Now let's look at the chords in the key of D minor using the number system. So the number system tells us that there is a chord from every note in the major scale, and those chords sound great together because they are formed by the notes of that same major scale. But this song is in a minor key, so what do? Well, every minor key has a relative major key, and every major key has a relative minor. So we need to find the relative major of D minor. And I use a simple trick that lives right inside shape 1 of the pentatonic. Whatever note your pointer finger lands on the low E string, that's your minor root. In this case, D, here at the 10th fret. It gives you the D minor pentatonic. But wherever your pinky lands, that's your relative major. In this case, F major. Same notes, different reference point. Why does this matter? Because this is your key to unlocking the chords in minor key songs without having to learn a whole new numbering system. So now we know the key of D minor is the same as the key of F major. So if we figure out the chords in the key of F, we will also have the chords that are in the key of D minor. If I start on the note F and use our phone number trick, 221, 2221, I go 2 frets, 2 frets, 1 fret, 2 frets, 2 frets, 2 frets, 1 fret. So we start on F, go up 2 frets to G, 2 more frets to A, and now 1 fret to B flat. And notice I called it B flat instead of A sharp. That's because in every key we need to have every letter name one and only one time. I can't have an A and an A sharp in the same key. So continuing on, we move up 2 frets, C, 2 more to D, 2 more to E, and then 1 more arriving back at F. The number system gives us a formula that is true for any key. In every key, the 1 chord is major, 2 and 3 are minor, 4 and 5 are major, the 6 is minor, and the 7 is diminished. The 7 chord is really uncommon, so mainly we concern ourselves with 6 chords, 3 major chords, 1, 4, and 5, and 3 minor chords, 2, 3, and 6. And the 6th chord is our relative minor, in this case, D minor, the key that we're in. So in the key of F, we get the 1 chord is F, the 2 is G minor, the 3 is A minor, the 4 is B flat, the 5 is C, and the 6 is D minor. And D minor is our relative minor. So these are the 6 main chords in the key of F major or in the key of D minor. The 4-leaf clover, the A chord. Okay, now let's look at the chord progression for Sultans of Swing. So notice how almost every chord in the song comes from the chords in the key of D minor. But there's a thing that makes Sultans of Swing a little more interesting than your average minor key song. So most of the chords fit exactly where you'd expect them, but that A chord in the verse, that's A major, not A minor, which is what you would have in a strict D minor key. Technically, that A major chord is borrowed from D harmonic minor, but the theory behind it is not that important. It gives it a slight flamenco feel, as that chord is used a lot in that style of music. And Mark Knopfler really outlines that chord. When that A major comes around, he's not just playing the D minor pentatonic. He's targeting A major chord tones. So in the verse part, Mark Knopfler's often just outlining the A chord with different caged shapes of A. Here's the D shape. Do you hear that? He's telling you exactly what chord is happening. It's not an accident. That's a guy who understands the patterns and knows his caged shapes. So when you're working on this song, that A chord is the one place where you can't just stay in D minor pentatonic and expect it to sound right. Flag it, acknowledge it, work out how to navigate it. The caged shapes, rhythm guitar part. So now let's look at what Knopfler is actually playing in the main riff of the song. So good. So this is built around specific caged shapes. And if you know your caged system, you'll recognize this immediately. So it starts with the A minor shape of D minor, and then it goes to the A shape of C and the A shape of B flat. Then he plays the C shape of F to the A shape of C, and then he plays the A shape of F to the E shape of C. It's simple, but by playing 2 different versions of that change, F to C, F to C, he creates a much more interesting guitar part. So he's not just strumming open chord shapes here. He's up the neck using these movable caged chord shapes to create this iconic riff. And once you see which shapes he's using, the whole thing makes sense. He's not playing random shapes or exotic chords. He's just using practical cage shapes to come up with a great guitar part for a fairly simple chord progression. The caged shapes, the solo. So there's another way that Knopfler uses the cage shapes in the song. When he solos, he moves up into the 10th fret area around shape 1 of the pentatonic. But he's playing more than just the D minor pentatonic. What's he doing up there? Again, he's using caged shapes, just in a different position on the neck. He's outlining chord tones by using caged shapes, like we saw in the rhythm guitar part, but just by playing those shapes one note at a time. And that's why the solo doesn't feel random. That's why it's so melodic and singable. He's not just playing notes in the pentatonic box. He's connected with the chords because he understands the cage shapes and really knows where they live on the neck. In the opening lick of the solo, he simply bends this note, and he's bending it to a note that's in the D minor chord. When he goes to that note, that's in the B flat chord. That's in the A chord. And then the next lick is straight out of a cage shape. It's literally just doing a cage shape. He hits. And that is really the C shape of A. It's over the A chord. It's the C shape of A. The first two notes he plays as harmonics. And so instead of playing, he plays these two as harmonics, and then he plays what I often call the practical C shape. And then he gets to the D shape. And that note is out of the A shape of A. And he just simply bends it up and brings it back down. And then the next lick is over the D minor chord, and it is literally just outlining the D minor chord. That is part of the E minor shape of D minor. Then he plays this note, which is out of the D shape of C. There's the B flat chord. So he's really outlining it's really clear that he's outlining cage shapes for that part. Then the next chord is F, and he does this little pedal steel style lick. And that really comes from I'm bending this 12th fret of the G string up while keeping the 13th fret stationary on the B and E strings. And that's really bending that note. It's outlining the E shape of F. And that note, still on the F chord, comes out of the A shape of F. So he's kind of going between this shape and this shape. And then the next lick is over the C chord, and he simply is outlining the D shape of C. Then he plays, and that is the B flat chord. There's the A shape of B flat, which is where he's bending that to. That note that he comes down to is out of the D shape of B flat. So that lick is clearly outlining these two shapes. And then another simple D minor. That's all in D minor pentatonic, but it's all really focusing on these chord tones. And then the next chord is B flat. He goes down here to the A shape of B flat. Up. And then he goes to the A shape of C. And B flat again. Then he plays this lick over the final C chord. The takeaway. So whether you learn this song or not is not important. but seeing how to approach learning a song by establishing these frameworks so that you can look for patterns is really important. The next time you sit down to learn a song, before you look up the tab, before you try to copy what someone is showing you on YouTube, spend 5 minutes doing what I just did. Find your 2 main pentatonic landmark shapes. Map out the chord numbers. Look for anything that breaks that pattern. Find your caged shapes on the neck. The 4-leaf clovers are there. You just have to slow down enough to see them. And don't forget, you can download the backing track, the tab, and diagrams for this lesson for free by clicking the link down in the description below. And if you want to go deeper on any of the 3 things I covered today, the number system, the cage system, or the landmark pentatonic, I've got a full course that ties all of that together, and the link is in the description below. To see more of how the pros use these 3 essential skills in the real world, watch this video next. And if this was helpful, please hit like and subscribe. YouTube will grant you 3 wishes. Thanks. See you next week.